Game Changers is right around the corner, and in today's video, I'll catch you up on the 10 teams competing, interesting storylines to follow, and other reasons as to why you might want to watch this tournament.
And fun fact, there will be 2 Sarahs in this tournament, one from Shopify Rebellion and the other one from Ginex.
The first team I want to mention is Xipto. This team had 4 of the 5 SMG members who blazed onto the Pacific scene last year. However, most people probably remember them for their match against EG, where they locked in 4 duelists and had a Cypher. Oh yeah, did I mention that their main duelist was the one on Cypher too? The reason for all of this was so innocent too.
I would like to know when you decide to play with 4 duelists on Lotus, when exactly and why?
To be honest, it was like a wrong agent pick. We thought that it was like a rehearsal, and then we didn't know, and then we just picked 4 duelists, and then after we realized that it was a mistake, because it's our mistake, right? So we have to follow through with it. We accepted that it was our mistake, and then we just kept playing, and I think we handled it super well. I think we're able to be like very situational and make things work. So yeah, that's the reason why.
It wasn't strategic at all? Not a decision by your coach or by your IGL, something like that?
No, it wasn't strategic. To be honest, it was just a mistake. Maybe because it's our first time on land. We didn't know how things work, I think. And yeah, it's an honest mistake. There was no intention behind it.
Surely you would think the tournament organizers would have let them restart the Asian select if they asked, right? Regardless, they won with this lineup, making this whole scenario even crazier. Definitely giving me Paper X vibes in the process too. Only 4 out of the 5 former SMG members are on this team. They parted ways with their old Sentinel. Regardless, they're coming strong into this competition. They haven't lost a single series at Xipto Esports. If you're looking for an APAC team to root for, this is the one. The only problem is that they're facing another formidable team in FlyQuest Red. This team has Saunders, who was killing it on Neon in 2022. Yeah, before the buffs. Imagine if she kept up with that agent now. However, for this tournament, you will most likely see her play Gecko, Deadlock, and Clove more than Neon. Yeah, you heard me right, Deadlock. Don't get it twisted either. Some Game Changers teams like YFP have made Deadlock look dangerous and quite useful.
Nice trade. Emlo was in a spot to get both. He tried to satchel out, but off of the paranoia. They had no idea what hit him.
That was insane, Doug. And that was the same set play they tried to do on the anti-eco. It's corrupt to get 4 into the round.
I was so happy to see combo utility plays like these. In Tier 1 of Valorant, especially the beginning of 2024, it was really rare to find plays like these.
But before we go on, I do want to mention that you can get these unique titles by watching certain streamers. And the one that really caught my eye was the fact that you can get the Queen title by watching Sleegy. But you can also get another title called Main Character if you watch streams that have drops on of Game Changers, as well as the Game Changers 2024 player card if you tune in during the finals on November 17th. Just make sure your Twitch and Riot accounts are linked.
But let's get back to FlyQuest Red. They also have Dodo Nut, who almost dropped 100 kills in the lower finals of North America's qualifiers for Game Changers champions.
Fun fact, there's a good chance that you'll see Michela on Michela violence in this tournament if Crew Blaze beats Zeta Division.
Let's talk about another Sky-related team in Falcons. This Saudi Arabia-based org was able to pull the legendary Mary back from retirement. She was a key factor in G2 winning it all in 2022. Basically looking like the best GC player at the time, and had many people calling her a prodigy.
Unfortunately for Team Falcons, Sandra was not able to secure a visa necessary for the event. And because of this, Riot allowed the team to fill an emergency substitute, where Alexa will be replacing Sandra. Seems she plays mainly Initiator and Sentinel, so that is an interesting thing to keep an eye out on for the rest of this event.
But you should also keep an eye out on other Falcons members like Eva, Mad V, and Toki too. Toki was the de facto duelist for this team before Mary joined, and really wanted to face off against Fluorescence. Their first matchup will be against Ambitious Legends Gaming, and if they beat them, Toki will get her wish and go against one of the tournament favorites in Shopify Rebellion. This Shopify team won it all last year and are looking to repeat that success as the first team to win back-to-back championships. And they have a pretty good chance at it too.
Fun fact, this tournament will have Mel, and Mel competing in it. Who would have thought? Regardless,
it's interesting to note that all 5 players and the coach still remain intact, which is a rare sight to see in Valorant. The main draw on this team is Fluorescent, who is this team's duelist, and many people praise her mechanical skills to a point where they really want to see her either in tier 1 or tier 2 of the VCT. But of course this is a team-based game, and from top to bottom Shopify have created a pretty stacked one. Noya is often not too far away from floor stats despite playing the Sentinel's role. You can count on the likes of Alexis to provide some fragging power too, while dishing out some crazy assists through utility and capitalizing on those trade potentials. Sarah also plays the initiator role pretty well. Mel, just like Alexis, has a lot of experience in Valorant's competitive play, which is something that you want from a solid IGL. They have a bye and are seen as one of the favorites to win it all. However, throughout 2024, Shopify have shown that they can bleed from time to time. Their losses in 2024 came from the likes of G2 and FlyQuest. Both these teams are in this tournament too. Anything can happen when you have the best Game Changers teams face off against each other. And speaking of G2, it looks like they're pulling a Fnatic and picking up the best available players in their region to create a pretty strong team as well. When it comes to underrated Game Changers players that a lot of casuals like myself probably don't know much about, I think that title might go to Vega. In the past, you can make an argument that she was one of, if not the best EMEA players in Game Changers. G2 still has Mimi and Petra, who have been on this team for a while, and fans of this organization probably recognize them the most. At the start of the year, they made some other roster changes besides bringing in Vega. They decided to pluck another Turkish player in Rescue as the team's duelist, who has been frying the competition. I honestly need to know what people are eating in Turkey and start adding that to my diet too. That place is producing some incredible talent in every Valorant league. Regardless, they brought in Amy from Ascend Rising too. This team will go on to win all 3 EMEA stages in an impressive fashion. They're also seen as favorites to win the whole tournament. But just like Shopify, they have shown some weaknesses too by losing matches against Giant X and Falcons earlier in the year. Again, both those teams are at this event. But if G2 is in top form, I have a hard time naming any team that can take them down.
Another fun fact, Brazil will have the most amount of players from this country representing them in Germany, followed by Turkey, and then Japan and Canada. Surprisingly, more than the USA. This picture is a little bit outdated. Sandra was from Egypt, so they will no longer have anyone. And I guess you can say Sweden now has 2, since Alexa claims that as her nationality. Next we have Crew Blaze, and just like their VCT counterparts, they always make it the champs. Hopefully they make a bigger splash on this stage than their tier 1 counterparts. They've dominated this region pretty well by only losing once throughout 2024. It's hard to judge them since this team hasn't played any notable competition outside of their region. Definitely an unknown factor. Their duelists and their smoke, Connier, definitely seem to be this team's heavy hitters, especially their duelists. This Brazilian was able to break the 100 kill line in the upper finals of Latin Am's last tournament of the year. She did it by playing 4 different duelists too, and going +8. Don't sleep on Connier either. You will see this Chilean controller at the top of scoreboards a lot by providing big assists, tallies, and eliminations too. Their first match is against Zeta Division. The interesting thing about Zeta Division is that I've seen people say that they only have 1 Radiant player on the team. It's kind of hard to fact check statements like these, but it's just something that I've been seeing people mention from time to time. Regardless, she was able to help carry this team through their regional circuit in a dominant fashion. Yor is another notable player to keep an eye out on for this team. Their stats were amazing during the Pacific qualifiers. Regardless, this team definitely has underdogs written all over them. But it wouldn't be the first time a Japanese team came into an event as one and shocked everyone in the process. Only time will tell if we get another Cinderella run from Zeta Division. MIBR is the sole Brazilian team coming into this event. They won both Series 2 and 3 in their circuit. It was a tall task when it came to dethroning Team Liquid Brazil, an organization who had been number 1 in the region for so long, but once Made in Brazil overcame that hurdle, they started lapping their competition. Their initiator, controller, and duelists are definitely the ones to look out for on this team. However, their first match will not be an easy one since it's against Giant X. And just like Falcons, Giant X definitely have Dark Horse energy once they start clicking. This team has former G2 duelist Sarah on the team. She now plays more of a flex role while IGLing, mainly because Giant X has Smurfette, who has been lighting it up as this team's duelist, playing every duelist agent under the sun from common picks like Raze, Neon, and Jet,
to lesser meta options like ISO and Yoru. She does a pretty good job on H2. Her former guild teammate Ness is another Turkish player that we can't forget about either, who both play off each other pretty well. Miori also has had stretches of carrying this team on the offensive end as a sentinel. Yeah, it turns out Valorant is a gun game. Who cares about roles? If you get shot in the head, you die. Lastly, we have Ambitious Legend Gaming, who is the sole Chinese org representing the region. Yusin used to play for Edward Gaming's Game Changers team in 2023, while Jian and Muffin are two Thai players on the team that played for Sapphire in 2022. Their first match is against Falcons, which will not be an easy one at all. Well, I hope you like this guide to Game Changers champions. What are some things you're looking forward to during it? Let me know down below. Also, like the video, subscribe, and be a KDA warrior, and I'll see you later.